Hello again and welcome to Uncle Geoff's Easy-Peasy English, and today we're looking at the past simple tense to talk about things that happened in the past. There's no extra feeling, there's no continuation of the action, it's just fact, pure and simple and basic, past simple. For example, listen to this little story. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was an Austrian musician and composer. He lived from 1756 to 1791. He started composing at the age of 5 and wrote more than 600 pieces of music. He was only 35 years old when he died. Now, lived, started, wrote, was and died are all examples of the past simple tense. Here are some more sentences with verbs in the past simple. The first one, I work in a bank now. Before that, I worked in a shop. I worked in a shop. Past simple. Next one, they invited us to a party, but we decided not to go. Invited, they invited us to a party, but we decided not to go. And the third one, Jane passed her exam because she studied very hard. Jane passed her exam because she studied very hard. 3 sentences, the verbs in the past simple. Have a look at them all. Worked, invited, decided, passed, studied. They all end in ed. Each one ends in ed. They all have the same ed endings. So it's a regular pattern, which is why we call them regular verbs. They're all the same, and there are lots and lots of verbs in English that have that regular ending, ed. However, there are some verbs in English that don't have the ed ending. They have an irregular ending, which is why we call them irregular verbs. They don't have the ed ending. Now, if you have an English grammar book, for example, this one, very popular for intermediate level students. If you have an English grammar book, maybe something left over from your study days, from your school days, if you have an English grammar book and look in the back, you will always see a list of irregular verbs. Now, of course, you could spend a whole week or a month learning all of those. However, much better is just to learn the verbs as you find them in your sentences. Have a quick look at these. Be, was or were, and been. Light, lit, lit. You have the infinitive, you have the past simple, and you have the past participle, the third form. Lose, lost, lost. Learn them as you find them. Now, back to our list of regular verb endings. Have a look. Here are our verbs in past simple. Worked, invited, decided, passed, studied. They all have ed endings, but they don't all sound the same. This one, worked. This one, invited. Decided, passed, studied. Have a look at these. Worked, passed, finished. Have a look at these. Moved, cleaned, used. 3 more. Invited, decided, waited. They all have different sounding endings. Worked, past, finished. What sound is there at the end? Worked, past, finished. There's a t ending. Worked, past, finished. Have a look at these three. Moved, cleaned, used. What's the ending? Moved, cleaned, used. It's a d ending. What about the last three? Invited, decided, waited. Yes, there's a d ending at the end, but there's an extra sound. There's an I in there. Invited, decided, waited. Three different sounding endings to past simple regular verbs. How complicated does it sound? But it isn't. Why? Why does these words end in t? Why do these three end in d? And why do these three end in id? Let me tell you. You remember the sounds of English. We have s and z. Unvoiced, voiced. S, s. Sh, sh. There's no vibration. S and vibration. Z, s, s. Unvoiced, voiced. It's split up into unvoiced, voiced, unvoiced, voice. This is a lovely thing to have. Get one if you can. You can download the image from the Uncle Geoff's Easy-Peasy English website. You can check one there. It's there for you to download if you want to. So the sounds in English. We looked at those words. Worked, past, finished. Worked, k, work, k, k. Unvoiced, k. Pass, past, pass, s, s, pass. The other one, finish, finish. So to put it into the past tense, worked, past, finished. If the last sound is unvoiced, then the ending, the ed ending, is unvoiced. Worked, worked, worked. This is the unvoiced column. Remember? Past, unvoiced, pass, s, s, past. Unvoiced again, past. Finished. Here's the sh sound. It's unvoiced, and so it needs an unvoiced ending. Finished. The other words on our board were moved, cleaned, and used. Moved. V. It's in the voiced column. Moved. V, v, move. So if it's voiced, it needs a voiced ending. And here, next to t, is d. The mouth is the same shape. T, d, t, d, t, d. Moved. Clean is cleaned. And used, z, zd, used. Okay? And now the other ones. Invited, decided, and waited. Because we've got invite, it would sound stupid to go invite. If we said decided, it would sound silly to go decided. And the other one, waited, wait. It doesn't sound right, it sounds silly, it sounds stupid, so we don't do it. We put an extra sound in to give it a voiced sound, the I, and then a d. So there's the I and there's the d. So it's invited, invited, decided, waited, So these three have the t ending, worked, past, finished. This has a d ending, moved, cleaned, used. And these three have an id ending, invited, decided, waited. So, English grammar, the past simple with ed endings, easy peasy. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Uncle Geoff's Easy Peasy English. Bye bye. Have a good day.